Hey, I'm Broxy, and today we're testing the Husqvarna CR150 with a 150 kit on it at the Tokoroa motocross track. So we get to come to the ride impression. A few firsts here for me, riding a 152 stroke, something that I've actually always dreamed of doing since I was a teenager, because I just love the 125s as it is. So to get a little bit more boogie in there to help it to stay on the pipe, is what I was hoping for. I wasn't expecting massive horsepower gains, and I think that's what we got. It was actually not too hard to keep into the in the rev range. I found that if you wanted to use the bottom end, it was non-existent, and that's a good thing, because on the 125s they want to put all their effort up high, so the porting's obviously not tuned that way. So what you're going to get with the 150, and this is what I found in the mid-range, it does come on a bit smoother than you'd normally get maybe with a 125 two-stroke, and so it had enough boogie to sort of hold its own. And then when it got up top, it wasn't a huge amount of horsepower that would pull you through any more than maybe some other bikes would, but it was a lot easier to keep it there. One of the things that helped also to keep it there was the clutch. It just felt feather light. And the funny thing about it is it's not even hydraulic. It's got quite a long actuator arm on it, and so I just found that it was almost like I had to look down to check that it was actually, I was using it, because it just feels really light. Just like you'd expect with a 125, it's extremely light. The wet weight for this bike is claimed at 94 kgs, and that's another relief. You notice it, you know, when you're out jumping and in those corners. But probably the most surprising one and scariest part of it was attacking those corners, where you just think that you're not going to make it into a rut or a berm, you're not going to slow down in time, but you think, oh, I'll give it a try anyway, and it just pulls up, and you get in there anyway. This bike has good brakes, front and rear. I didn't find the rear brakes to be twitchy. The front brake was solid, real strong. It was an easy bike to stop in a big hurry. When it comes to the springers, this is the first time I've come across what they call a Sachs shock, German built unit. The bike comes with the Kiaba forks, and the bigger other bikes, they come with Kiaba shock, but this one, it's a bit stands out on its own. And you can see why they've kept it. When I was out there riding, it handled really well, taking the big hits and the little sharp edge bumps. I didn't have any problem with it at all. It's definitely up to the task. From what I hear from the testers, if you're going to need to revalve anything, you'd be more likely to do the forks rather than the shock. Another first for me was riding a Husqvarna, the ergonomics of it. I've always looked at them from a distance and thought, you know, that's a little bit quirky. To be honest, that's what I felt a little bit when I first hopped on it. The seat, it has a low point that's kind of quite far back, but you can still get forward on the seat. It just feels like you're on a little bit of an uprise. The radiators are not super wide. They just, you do notice they're there. Otherwise, the ergonomics, it all works pretty well, especially once I rolled the handlebars back a little bit. This bike also comes with a few little trick bits, and you've got the whole shot starter clip, and then you've got the bash plate on the bottom there for, you know, your kind of more enduro kind of cross-country kind of riding. You know, I think that's a big market for this bike because of the CC displacement and the classes that it's going to be able to enter into. Well, the bash plate, it comes as a standard unit. The radiator brace was an added unit, thanks to Nick from Envy Motorcycles, who also jacked us up with the test today. One of the interesting things I noticed about the bike was the radiator hoses. They're not a common kind of a rubber that you'd see on a normal bike. They're a lot thinner, and they're more of a sort of a harder silicone or something like that. They obviously do the job. They'll probably be a bit lighter, and my only concern possibly is whether they can develop cracks or bends. The engine mount stay has been upgraded. It's so obvious to see because there's such a big open space in there. The CTI unit is nestled up underneath the fuel tank, and there's just so much room to play with. Apparently you can do a piss and a ring on this thing without even hardly needing to take the tank off, let alone the subframe. So as far as user friendliness goes and maintenance, yeah, you can't really go wrong with something like this. Probably the main place that I noticed that this bike is a 150 was in the sound. There's that kind of a grunt that you hear when you're really pulling hard. It's a good feeling. It really kind of makes you want to wring it out even harder because it's such a nice sound. And so when you go from the 125 kit to the 150, just that extra 25 cubic centimetres, you know, that's going to give you that extra power and ability to keep it on the pipe. You might notice on the video a couple of times I hit neutral in between gears. One of the things about the bike was that I found the gears were a bit clunky and didn't feel completely 100% comfortable with them, especially with the fact that you're dancing on them so much. I guess that puts a bit more load on them, so you're going to get a little bit of trouble. And then combined with the slightly strange ergonomics, that would be something that would take a little bit of getting used to, I'd imagine. So look online, www.husqvarnamotorcycles.co.nz.